It's all going down tomorrow night. Little Caesars Arena. We like to thank our weighing partners,
Ladies and gentlemen, you need to hide your wedding rings and fasten your seatbelts because what happened inside that boxing ring had nothing to do with titles, hooks, or jabs, and everything to do with humiliation in front of the public. A love triangle and tattooed territory are blowing up in front of our eyes. What if I told you that the unbeaten boxing queen recently got married to ink? What if I told you she didn't do it in privacy behind closed doors or even in the dark depths of Instagram? No, she did it during a formal weigh-in on stage in front of cameras. The ink papoose is placed under her boob. Remy Ma was rendered speechless by the reaction backstage. We now pose the question that no one else is brave enough to pose aloud. Did Claressa Shields just openly claim Remy Ma's spouse with a single tattoo? Did boxing's golden girl just deliver a bombshell that might kill a hip-hop legacy? Because this wasn't a fight win. This was a televised betrayal. And believe me, the fallout is only beginning. It was already too late. Ladies and gentlemen, when Claressa Shields took the stage, the crowd was lively, the cameras were rolling, and the win was expected to be just another standard boxing procedure. The events that followed, however, weren't merely surprising. 'Twas catastrophic. It wasn't a sporting event. 'Twas a brilliant example of planned pandemonium. Because Claressa didn't just show, she arrived with a bomb beneath her bra line and exuded confidence. Literally, Arena, Hotel St. Reg, Detroit Records. It's all going down tomorrow night. The arena of Little Caesar Partners. When she lifted her arms for the camera, she revealed a freshly inked name tattooed right below her breast. One name, one word, Papoose. Let's just pause for a second and digest that. Papoose, as in the rapper. Remy Ma's spouse and the man we all believed was still involved in one of the most revered relationships in hip-hop. You're telling me Claressa Shields, the undefeated boxing queen, showed up to a global media event with Papoose's name tattooed under her chest while Remy Ma was somewhere in that same building? That's not shade. That's a full-blown eclipse. And let's not act like this was a random act of rebellion. No, this was intentional. This was a theater. This was a one-woman demolition job against one of the most iconic couples in entertainment history. And Claressa didn't flinch. She didn't smirk. She didn't wink. She stood there cold as steel, like the tattoo was her championship belt and Papoose was the trophy. Social media didn't even have time to process what happened before the screenshots. Went viral, zoomed-in images of the tattoo flooded timelines. Group chats exploded, and the hashtags #PapePooSTTattoo, #Remy, watching, and #Claressa claimed he trended within minutes. Nobody could believe what they were seeing. It wasn't the fact that Claressa got a man's name tatted. It was the name she chose. It's the timing, the placement, and the target. It's important to understand just how deep this cut goes. Papoose and Remy Ma weren't just a couple. They were a brand. They were the blueprint for loyalty in hip-hop. Through jail time, industry scandals, and public scrutiny, they stood firm. Or so we thought. 'Cause now, out of nowhere, the woman dubbed the GW, the greatest woman of all time in boxing, is casually parading around with Rhee's husband's name below her bra line like it's just another sports sponsorship. But it doesn't end there. No, this rabbit hole goes deeper because Papoose wasn't just some name she randomly decided to honor. He was there in the building watching. According to one source who attended the weigh-in, he never looked shocked, never blinked, and never looked away. He stood by the wall, arms folded, stone-faced, like this was something he already knew about. And if that doesn't speak volumes, nothing will. One member of Claressa's inner circle, who asked to remain anonymous, claimed this move was planned weeks in advance, that the tattoo appointment was booked right after Claressa finalized the contract for this fight. She reportedly told her team, "This one's bigger than a belt." When pressed about what that meant, nobody asked again, and now it all makes sense. This wasn't a woman lashing out. This was a woman making a claim. A woman drawing the battle lines. In public. A woman signaling to the world that whatever they thought they knew about Papoose, about Remy, about Black Love, it was all about to change. And it's not like there weren't signs. Go back a few months. Claressa had been posting some suspiciously suggestive captions on Instagram. Real kings move in silence. The only woman who gets him is the one who bleeds for him. What's mine was never really hers. These weren't just random thoughts. These were coded messages, breadcrumbs, and warnings, and people noticed. The comment sections were always full of speculation. Is she talking about someone's man? Who is she claiming? Why do her posts sound like threats? But it was all brushed off as motivational content until now. Has that tattoo said everything out loud? Remy Ma's name wasn't mentioned, but it didn't have to be. The world knew exactly what this meant, and the fact that Claressa did it in public on the even in a major fight with full media attention, that's psychological warfare. Sources say Remy Ma was supposed to be seated ringside for the event as a VIP guest of the promotion. But minutes after Claressa stepped off the scale, Remy reportedly disappeared from the arena entirely. No post, no story, no comment, nothing. Just gone. And that silence, that's louder than any diss track. Behind the scenes, things were reportedly even worse. According to two insiders backstage, Remy was seen arguing on the phone in a private hallway. Her voice raised, her body language erratic. One assistant tried to comfort her and was allegedly pushed away. She was fuming, the source said, like visibly shaking. She couldn't believe he let it happen. 'Cause that's the twist in all this, isn't it? Papoose didn't stop it, didn't prevent, it didn't even deny it. When asked for comment by a local reporter after the weigh-in, he simply said, "No comment." That's it. No defense, no correction, just silence. And in today's world of celebrity optics, silence is guilt's best friend. Meanwhile, Claressa doubled. Down after the weigh-in, she posted a mirror selfie with a caption that read, "Marked by choice, loved without limits." There it was again. No apology, no ambiguity, just boldness. The reactions were immediate and polarizing. Some fans praised Claressa for living in her truth. She got him fair and square. Why hide it? Others condemned the move as messy and low. Tattooing another man's name under your chest is wild behavior. But no one was neutral. And that's exactly what makes this so viral. The image of Claressa standing on that stage, toned, proud, unapologetic, with the name of a married man on her body, is burned into the internet forever now. And while some try to call it just a personal decision, the rest of us know better. This wasn't personal. This was public. This was premeditated. This was televised betrayal in its purest form. What nobody expected, though, was how deep the fallout would go. Because just as the internet began to settle down, more information started leaking. DMs, texts, screenshots, alleged conversations between Claressa and Papoose, cryptic captions, from Remy's burner account and alleged phone calls caught on tape. And trust me, we'll get into all of that. The breakdown, the receipts, the tears. Because if you thought the tattoo was the climax, you're dead wrong. This is only the beginning. And just like that, the moment the ink touched the light, the foundation of everything Remy Ma had built began to crack. There she was somewhere backstage. Knowing the entire internet was now staring at the spot Claressa Shields had chosen to permanently stamp the name of her husband. No denials, no excuses, and no PR cleanup crew could undo what had just been broadcast to the world. The woman who once proudly proclaimed she had the most loyal man in hip-hop was now watching that same man being claimed right under her nose and under someone else's boob. What happened next wasn't just embarrassing, it was cinematic. According to two separate sources who were present in the media hallway after the weigh-in, Remy Ma was seen storming past security, visibly shaken on her phone, with someone who could only be assumed to be Papoose. Her voice wasn't raised, but it was sharp, deadly. The witness described her tone as the kind where you know someone's holding back from unleashing pure rage. Her fists were clenched, her lips were pursed. She didn't need to yell. Her face said it all. But the worst part is that Papoose didn't follow her. He stayed behind, chatting briefly with a few members of Claressa's entourage. When asked by one onlooker if he was okay, he reportedly smiled and said, "I'm good. I'm proud of her." The hero in question was left to interpretation. Was he talking about Claressa's fight preparation or the tattoo? Writes, "You know, I don't do anything halfway. If I'm in, I'm all the way in." The response, "And that's why I'm with you." With you. That's the phrase that broke the internet for the second time in less than 24 hours. With you, not supporting. You, not training with you, but with you. People began dissecting every word, every punctuation mark. Was it romantic? Was it platonic? Was it a betrayal wrapped in a casual compliment? And then came the audio. A 33-second clip appeared on TikTok, reportedly recorded by someone in the vicinity of Claressa's dressing room after the win. The voice allegedly belonging to Claressa can be heard laughing and saying, "I told him I was going to do it." He said, "Go ahead, show him who you are." The context wasn't clear, but fans didn't need much to run wild. Comments exploded. That confirms. Remy's finished. She got Papoose cheering her on while Ray was crying in the car. It's to add gasoline to an already blazing inferno. A grainy photo began circulating showing Claressa and Papoose allegedly leaving a Detroit hotel lobby the night before the weigh-in. Matching sweats, close proximity, no bodyguards, just the two of them, casual as ever. Whether the photo was legit or edited didn't even matter anymore. The court of public opinion had ruled they were a thing. And what about Remy Ma, the woman who had once stood tall beside her man while serving a 6-year prison sentence, was now being publicly upstaged by a woman in boxing gloves and designer shorts? Her Instagram went dark. No new posts, no stories, no likes. Just silence until someone noticed a cryptic change in her bio. A single sentence was added beneath her name. "People show you who they are. Believe them." That was all the confirmation the internet needed. Comment sections turned into therapy circles. "We love you, Remy. He didn't deserve you. This is so humiliating." Meanwhile, others came to Claressa's defense. "If he's happy, let him be. Remy has been disrespecting herself for years. Claressa just claimed what was already gone." The divide between fans grew even deeper when another supposed friend of Claressa's leaked what she claimed was a voice note. In the message, a woman's voice, allegedly Claressa, says, "I didn't steal anybody. I just did what she wouldn't." That quote made its way onto every gossip page within hours. Memes followed. Edits were made. Claressa was painted as both the villain and the heroine, depending on which side you stood on. But perhaps the most shocking moment of all came not from any of the three people involved, but from a bystander who apparently witnessed the aftermath. Up close, a makeup artist working the event anonymously messaged a gossip blog and shared a detailed account of what happened in the makeup trailer after the weigh-in. According to her, Remy Ma entered the trailer alone, sat down, took a deep breath, and simply said, "I lost him, didn't I?" No tears, no screams, just that. If true, those 5 words are among the saddest we've ever heard in celebrity scandal history. Not because they confirm the affair, but because they confirm something even more devastating. Acceptance. She didn't say she took him. She didn't say he betrayed me. She said, "I lost him." And maybe she did. Maybe he was gone long before the tattoo. Maybe Claressa wasn't the cause but the consequence. Maybe this relationship had been deteriorating for years and the Underboob was just the final chapter. Here's the twist though. Just when the internet started to rally around Remy, Claressa doubled down again. She posted a video clip of her training, focused, silent, gloves hitting the bag with precision. The caption was brutal. Strong women don't steal, they earn. The implications were nuclear. She was telling the world she didn't take anything that wasn't already hers, that she didn't beg, didn't chase, just claimed. And that brings us to the final, most explosive piece of this entire saga. Because while everyone was debating who said what and who hurt whom and who inked what under their chest, no one noticed that Papoose's Instagram bio had been quietly updated. A black heart emoji. That's it. No name, no text, just a black heart. And as we all know, black hearts don't mean love. They mean loss. They mean death. They mean mourning. So the question now is, what exactly did he just bury? As the dust continued to swirl around Claressa's shields, Papoose, and the silent storm named Remy, it became increasingly clear that this was no longer just a love triangle. It had transformed into a full-blown cultural catastrophe. Fans weren't just watching, they were documenting and investigating. Theories popped up like popcorn kernels, and everyone suddenly became an expert on body language, tattoo psychology, and relationship timelines. But while the gossip grew louder, so did the real-world consequences. Let's start with the most obvious endorsements. Claressa Shields, once marketed as the face of resilience and discipline in combat sports, is now the face of an explosive scandal. Several boxing apparel companies reportedly pulled out of ongoing negotiations after the tattoo reveal. One source close to a sports brand stated, "We loved her strength, but now the narrative is off-brand. She's not just an athlete anymore. She's tabloid fuel." And in this economy, brands don't touch fire, no matter how famous the flame. But that's just one side of it. Let's talk about Papoose, quiet, still unmoved. The man who once stood on stages beside his wife and shouted her name like a badge of honor now hasn't said a word in her defense. No tweet, no press statement, no denial. The silence is louder than an entire album of confessions, and fans have taken notice. Some are accusing him of orchestrating the whole thing. Others believe he was caught off guard and is just too ashamed to speak. Either way, the image of Papoose has changed forever. It's no longer the ride-or-die husband. He's the man whose name is written under another woman's boob while his wife quietly mourns the loss of their love in private. But if you think Remy Ma is staying silent forever, think again. Multiple insiders claim she's back in the studio. Not for an album, not for a freestyle, but for a surgical-level diss track aimed directly at Claressa Shields. According to one music engineer who leaked the info, Rhee's not coming to cry. She's coming to kill. She's allegedly recorded a demo titled Marked, and the lyrics, let's just say they're not vague. One line reportedly says, "You needed ink to get his heart. I got it with a sentence. Now you're playing the part." The references are sharp, loaded, and personal. If this track ever sees daylight, it will not only reignite Remy's rap career, but it will also obliterate any illusion that this situation was under control. And what about Claressa? She hasn't backed down an inch. While brands may be panicking behind closed doors, she's been posting non-stop. Training clips, selfies, shots of her gloves with the initials PP stitched in gold on the wrist. One post shows her jogging along a track with a caption, "You don't lose what was never," a name tattooed under a chest bone. A marriage dangling by a thread. A diss track is in the works. A silence that screams louder than any statement ever could. And a public still glued to the screens, waiting for someone, anyone, to say what we all know is true. This wasn't just a scandal. This was a coup. Claressa didn't steal a man. She seized a narrative. She flipped the power dynamic, weaponized intimacy, and turned vulnerability into dominance. Whether you see it as empowerment or sabotage, one thing is certain. She played the game, and she played it without mercy. And Remy, she may not be finished yet. If the diss track leaks, if the brand deals fall through, if Papoose finally breaks his silence, it could change everything. But until then, the world has spoken. Claressa owns the moment. Whether she keeps it is another story. Now ask yourself, was it worth it? Was a name under the boob worth a storm this big? Was it love, lust, or just a publicity stunt on nuclear power? Is Papoose innocent, or did he orchestrate this chaos like a silent puppeteer? And most importantly, who's next? Because in a world where tattoos speak louder than vows and silence says more than a statement, trust me, this isn't the last time someone's going to mark their territory in ink. It's just the first time someone did it in front of cameras under stadium lights with a whole world watching. And they weren't just watching a fight. They were watching the end of a chapter, or maybe the beginning of a whole new war. So, now that you've seen the tattoo, felt the fallout, and watched an entire legacy teeter on the edge of destruction, what do you think? Was this a bold move of love, or a desperate act of dominance? Did Claressa Shields really just declare war on one of the most respected women in hip-hop? Or did she simply reveal the truth that Remy Ma didn't want to face? Because, let's be honest, people don't just get names inked on their body without meaning. Not on the ribs, not under the chest, not hours before a championship fight with the world watching. That wasn't a tribute. That wasn't a coincidence. It was a message. Loud, clear, permanent. So now we ask you, do you believe Papoose was already Claressa before the ink ever dried? All right. Did Remy Ma lose a husband? Or was she holding on to a man who had already moved on? And most of all, if you were in Clarissa's gloves, would you have done it? Leave a comment below with your opinions. Was this empowering or embarrassing? Savage or strategic? We want to hear it all. The truth, the theories, the smoke. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. Because in the world of celebrity betrayal and public scandal, this is only the beginning. If you think this story is over, trust us, it's not. The silence, the music, the next move. It's coming. And when it does, you know exactly where to find the truth. Right here. Only on the channel that tells you what no one else dares to say. We are a celeb tycoon, and we don't.